Hello everybody, my name is Richard Vigorelli and this is Vigorelli Institute. Last week I did an episode of how to start a religion here where I live in Tennessee. And no, I am not from Tennessee. So, well, we're going to continue that today. We've got episode 2 here, early animism. Now, this is actually kind of interesting, okay? Technically speaking, yes, as they moved into the area, they were animists. They were also spirits, spiritualists, etc. Okay? The thing is, there really wouldn't be anything concrete. We're going to see that spring up now. Okay? So I got my handy dandy notes right here. So what will happen is they will start to categorize certain animals and weather phenomena as being either good or bad, or maybe somewhere in the middle. Okay? So, they'll also start to create stories. These stories won't take on full narrative capacity necessarily. These are going to be very, very simple. And they're going to be used to teach moral lessons, especially to the young. Okay? These are called parables. Okay? And fables. Okay? They're not myths, necessarily. Okay? A myth is something that could not possibly ever happen. Okay? Complete total fabrication, complete nonsense. You would be mistaken for thinking it was just from a storybook. Now, a myth is a false story to a non-believer. To a believer, that is the way the world functions. Don't piss on my foot. Okay? So, what we'll see then is the forces of nature gain reverence and fear, more so than they had primally. Tornadoes, take on a quality of being divine and terrible. Here's why. They come out of the sky. We have no idea what's up there. They just appear. Okay? Because if I could spell, they come from the sky. Okay? Now, we do not have gods yet. Okay? We're nowhere near it. Now, we have rudimentary agriculture. There is no writing. There's nothing really spectacular. They probably have semi-permanent homes. Okay? So we're going to come up here. If I could spell, would be awesome. There we go. Semi-permanent homes and predictable movement. Now, they might at one point use what are called collapsible structures. This would be like the teepee or the yurt. And then they just move to the next area, set them up, do whatever it is they're going to do, pack up, keep moving. Okay? But eventually, somebody's going to decide, I'm sick and tired of this. So what they'll do is they will create a substructure, okay, that they can then tear, that will be permanent, and then they just re-rig wood and whatnot as they decide, and then eventually they're going to decide, you know what, this is dumb. And eventually, more permanent. Structures will be built Because it's easier. That's why we did it, okay? All humans used to be very nomadic, okay? We still have people in northern Africa that are nomadic. They're called Bedouins. We still have people in Central Africa that are nomadic. They follow the wildebeest herds, okay? That way of life is dying out because why are you working so hard, dude? Well, we like it. So, okay? They're bowing, they're seeing the way most civilizations behave. Yeah. Okay? Of course, they also probably see the stupidity inherent within some of those civilizations. So, all right? So, as the society becomes more grounded, more settled, actually, they gain free time. This allows for creativity. Okay? This is where we get sacred things. Okay? Also, right, these are often stories created for moral lessons and history of the old times. Okay? So, basically, Grandpa sits his kids down and says, when I was your age, we used to travel a lot. And there was always this wolf that would follow us around. Well, I made friends with it, and that wolf brought another wolf over and gave us baby wolves. Well, we raised those, and that's why we have these dogs. Okay? So, as a result of this, domestication will also become a thing. Okay? Now, that's these. Okay? Sunlight is important because of heat and light. Okay? It's the way our eyes work. These are actually radiation sensors, and they're very, very specialized because they only see a very, very small piece of the EM spectrum. Okay? Without that, we can't see. So we really, really like sunlight. Okay? Okay. Full moon becomes important too. Okay, as a result, anything that obstructs is bad. Okay? Anything that makes it cold, also anything that is cold is bad unless it isn't. Summers here in Tennessee are hot and wet. Okay, right now we're technically in a drought. Yeah, I'm from a desert. I'll tell you when it's a drought. Okay? When we're getting wildfires sparking up in grass fields because somebody farted, I will say, yes, we're in a drought. Okay? But that river's pretty freaking full right now. I think we're good. Okay? So what happens is animals, okay, will start to be associated with forces of nature. Okay? later, people who have certain affinities for either the animals or forces or both will gain prominence. Okay? This is how you make a god. Okay? It's because it's the only way to do it. Okay? In the Indo-European traditions, okay, all of the gods are anthropomorphic. Okay? In the Semitic traditions, the gods are quasi-anthropomorphic at the very least. You know, they'll have animal heads, they'll have certain leanings towards animals, but they'll also lean in with natural forces or forces of society. Because back in the day, the person whom that god is based off of, okay, really liked falcons. Okay, he was really good with dogs. She was awesome with cats. He figured out how to put grain in the ground and get more food. Okay, she was an unbelievable hunter with a bow, and we just kept telling stories about her. Okay, as the years progress, okay, the stories become more fantastic until writing is invented. See, what will happen, okay, and it depends. There's two ways writing comes about, okay? Either trade, like it did in either through trade, spell, or need to remember multiple stories. Okay? So, in the Middle East, writing came about as a means of knowing where all this crap is coming from. Who paid me? Okay? You see that in Egypt. See, what they did was a location would be named for a given animal. Okay? And they would use that animal to show to show where a given pot came from. So like biblos. Okay? The Egyptian word for elephant is bib, because that's the sound it makes. The Egyptian word for cat is meow, because that's the sound it makes. Okay? So, the city of Byblos is Elephant City. Okay? So, when Byblos paid the taxes to the king, they would send it with a little tag on it, with a little elephant. Okay? And eventually, writing the freaking elephant took too freaking long, and I had too many tags to make, and they're too small for me to use a punch. Okay? So instead, I'm going to simplify it. Okay? And the ministers are going to look at that and go, well, that's actually kind of a cool idea. So what we'll do is we'll spread that out and uniform it. That way everybody knows that when they see this glyph, it's coming from this place. Okay? Well, somebody gets enterprising and says, why not do other things with this? That way I can keep a record. That way I know that Byblos was supposed to send me 10 pounds of grain. Well, they walked in with 9. Where's the other pound? I've got it right here. You're supposed to give me 10. This is 9. Pay up. Okay? Trade. Taxes. Now, the other option is like they did in China. Okay? and Japan, okay, where, yes, trade was important, but the writing started out as a means of record keeping of stories, okay? So what will happen is with this group, okay, they're going to have all of these stories of all of these animals and all of these people, and they're not going to be able to keep them straight. Not only that, stuff is going to warp. It's going to merge. There's going to be continuity issues. Somebody's going to sit down and say, I'm fixing this. Okay? So he invents a language. Okay? So as a result of this, and a canon, how you spell that, is created. This forms the basis of religion. Okay? Now, no one has been deified yet. Okay? We're not even close to that. What this will do is it will create a hard current for the culture. Okay? This creates a basis for a stable culture. Okay? These are stories that everybody in this group will know. Some will know them better than others. Okay? Now what will happen, okay, this will also necessitate the creation of a learned class of clergy, i.e., okay, so this would be a shaman, okay, so now we had shaman up here, okay, but this is where they really hit the thing, okay? Now, these may or may not, depending on the era. That's how you spell that. That means anger. Oops. Depending on the era, be hereditary. Okay. Meaning, your daddy was a shaman. So guess what you're doing, dude? Even though you're a total knob, you're going to be a shaman. Please learn, because you're the keeper of the stories. Okay? Now, because of this, okay, I don't know if you've noticed, nature is mean. Okay? So, with the stories, excuse me. So with the stories, the shaman will practice a basic form of magic to make the world easier. I can spell. There we go. I have another sneeze. No, we're okay. At least for right now. Okay? Now, as events unfold and the shaman gain credibility, more stories will be created. And others will be lost. Okay? Here's why. what will happen is certain events will come about, okay? Such as there will be a plague, okay? And the shaman will know how the plants work, how animals work, and all of this, and what things to say in order to help the person lift up their willpower to live and kill off the infection. Okay? Well, this guy's really, really cool. We really like him. We're going to remember him. So a story will get created about that shaman so that they can remember where their people came from. Okay? That way, a few generations down the line, somebody will say, hey, where's my grandpa? Oh, he died. He got sick. A lot of people did. This is what happens, and this is why mommy and daddy are here, and so are you. Okay? Other things will get lost because of we got better stories and more significant events that kind of say the exact same thing, so why continue? Okay? So this will also create individuals that become mythical. Okay? As a result, certain individuals will become mythical. So, we have a mystical tradition, and a story tradition with a basic language. I could create that. I'm not going to. I don't have that kind of time. Also, I've already created a language, and I'm still building up the dictionary for it, and I'm lazy. I haven't touched it in like a year and a half, at least. I just look at it like, I don't want to, you know? Okay? So, let's look at the good. And the bad things. Okay? Now, good things. Okay? Will be stuff like deer. Right? Wrong deer. Okay? Fish. And songbirds. Okay? Right? Okay. And we will see rain, but severe storms won't necessarily be good. Okay? All right, sunlight. Okay. Water. Moderate temps. The full moon. And light in general. Okay? Now, bad things are going to include spiders. Okay? Anybody arachnophobe out there? Yeah. Snakes. Gators. Bugs. Okay? Because poison, large bitey thing, disease. Okay? They will figure out that the flying thing that lands on you and leaves a little mark, that's a disease. Okay? Because people are going to get a little thing called malaria. Okay? And they're going to realize it comes from the bugs, specifically mosquitoes. So that's bad. We don't like that. Okay? Additionally, tornadoes. heat and cold. Okay? Ooh, another one here. Fire. Well, no. Fire is different. And I'll explain why. Okay? Floods, because the rivers do overflow. Darkness, because we don't like it. We have a natural aversion to darkness because of our eyes. Okay? And poisons. From animals and plants. Okay? Now, I'm going to do something here. Okay? Middle things. They're neither good nor bad. So, this is the hinge point. Okay? If you encounter these things, super bad. Rotten omen, life sucks. These things here, though, if we can control them, if we can make friends with them, then they're not so bad. So, wolves. Okay? Cougars. Okay. Crow. Why the crow? They're carrion eaters. Okay? They're kind of creepy. In a lot of ways. Possums. Possums really aren't that big of a deal. They don't spread any disease. They're just weird looking and they're kind of dumb. Okay? So they're going to lean more on the good side. Okay? And you can eat them. Okay? And rodents. Okay? We got things like skunks and so forth. Okay? Rodents, this is going to include groundhog, rat, mouse. Okay? They eat food, they spread disease, but they also bring in the cats. Okay? And other things. Now, interestingly, Egypt has issues with snakes, okay? On one hand, they worship them. But one of the greatest demons of the old Egyptian Kemetism is Apophis. He's a giant cobra, okay? And he seeks to eat everything. He wants to unmake the world and return it into a state of chaos. Okay? So Egypt has a very complicated relationship with snakes. And I'm willing to bet that these people eventually will too. Okay? I'll just go ahead and name those. Okay? Now, this is where we get the early creations of what it means to be an adherent of this religion. Okay? So, as a result of the stories, and growing beliefs, based on patterns and repetition, okay, philosophy will be created. Okay. Now keep in mind, we don't have metallurgy yet. We're not there. Patience. Okay? So this is where we start getting into how do we approach the world. Okay? All of which is how do we interact with the world and with other people. Okay? Now, here's the thing with humans. Okay? If we can find a reason to push a person out of our group, we'll do it. Okay? Humans are actually very exclusionary by nature, which is one of the reasons why progressives tend to say inclusion. Okay? And it's also why other people tend to regard that as being insane. Because we don't know what's going on with him. Okay? We don't know if he's good. We don't know if he's bad. We don't know if he's a thief. We don't know if he's going to spread disease. Okay? This is natural instinct at this point. Okay? We started doing this before we actually had command of fire. Okay? This is old. So, what we're going to look for is reasons to exclude. If we can't find any, one of two things will happen. We will either make up a reason, or, come on in, dude. Have a beer. Okay? So, I'm not really going to get too much into, the nit and gritty of it. That, we're going to do that when we get into the real religion, and we need a couple of things for that. Okay? What is known as a deific religion, that is, actual gods, those tend to spring out of a Copper Age level of technology. Okay? Then you start getting rudimentary stuff because it's a hell of a lot easier to make images of them. Okay? What we call idols, which is very, very common, and we will get to that. Okay? That will probably be in the next episode. So we have what will come to be made as gods, but we're not there yet. Okay? So, what's going to happen additionally at this time is there's going to be a lot of different variations of basically the same thing. Okay? By about this point, the people will have started spreading out. Okay? People have started spreading out and colonizing other areas. A rough shared culture, okay, and religion will bind them together. Bind them together-ish. Okay? Here's why I say ish. Yeah, you're from that town over there. You guys do weird things. Well, you guys are like really into fish, and fish are stinky. So you raise funky looking deer. What's your point, bro? Okay? They'll get into little spats here and there. Okay? And we'll get to that. Alright? So, that's about all I've got for you today. I'm rolling, pretty good here. So, I will be back next week with episode 3. And this is where we start getting into the early codified religion. Okay? Go ahead and make that right now. Okay. We'll see you then. Like, share, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and please feel free to visit my website, vimandvigorelli.com. Lots there, books, merchandise, tours, Chinese astrological readings. You can connect with me directly in both ways. I will see you soon. You take care. Bye-bye.